your CPM, which stands for your cost per milli, is the cost per every 1,000 impressions for every ad that's placed on or around your video. So you'll see if a video is shorter than 10 minutes, it'll only have one ad at the beginning, maybe an ad at the ending. But when a video is longer than 10 minutes, then you're able to place multiple ads throughout the video. So for those long skippable ads, as long as the viewer watches it for 30 seconds or more, that's an impression. Or those ads that you can't skip through, that's an impression. Those ads on the side of the YouTube video, if it's on there, that's an impression. The banners that show up at the bottom, if someone watches that, that's an impression as well. So for every 1,000 impressions you get on your video, that's your cost per milli. That's how much you get. That's how much you get paid for it. The thing about the cost per milli is that it's not determined by you, though. It's determined by YouTube. So it's basically how much ad payers or ad creators are willing to pay to put their ads in front of your video, in front of your audience. And it's basically an indicator to see how valuable marketers take your content, basically, like how valuable they perceive your content to be to help them with the business development and their business goals.
Okay. So, and that's interesting because it's like what we found out that depending on what type of content you put out, that determines your CPM. So like us as a financial channel, our CPMs are a lot higher because it's clean content. Like, you know what I mean? It's clean business content. So we're not cursing or anything like that. Whereas like if it's a music, if it's a lot of cursing, they can have potentially way more subscribers, way more views, but their CPMs might be like $3. So to give you an example, our CPMs usually range from, what's the CPM price for us?
Our average right now is probably like 35, but we had some that go up to like 70. We've had some that are 112. So it really, like you said, just depends on the type of content and how clean it is and how many people are watching.
And if it's dirty content, I don't want to say dirty, but if it's like cursing and stuff like that, they could demonetize it and not have anything on it at all.
So people gotta realize that. So like you gotta when you really get into this YouTube thing, you gotta really like dive in and do YouTube Studio. I would recommend that highly, and study the analytics. So like a lot of times, if you'll see that money sign is yellow, that means that you're not monetizing the way. There's something in your content that is causing it to not get the ad space that it's supposed to. And then another thing is, like, a lot of times people don't realize that they don't turn on their ads. So like you can put on start, you can put on in the middle, you can put on at the end. You can actually place your ads where you like. So a lot of people don't realize that, and it's a gem because it's like, yo, the more ads you have, then there's more revenue. But there's something that we kind of skipped, and that is like when you can start monetizing, right? Like there's a certain amount of users you have to have and a certain amount of views you have to have, right? Is it like 1,000 for the usership?
Yeah, 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours. They've changed it now. It wasn't like that just a couple years ago, but they've changed it, and now you need 1,000 subscribers, 4,000 watch hours before you can even start monetizing your platform.
Okay. All right. So now, and that's important too with the 10-minute thing. Shout out to Mike. He actually put us on to that. He watched the video and on YouTube, and it showed him that the key with the clips, like even a lot of the micro clips that we put out from our episodes, they're always, if you notice, they're always longer than 10 minutes or like at 10 minutes, because then you could put multiple ads in. If there's anything lower than 10 minutes, then you can only put one ad in. So it makes a big difference if you have 3 ads in a video as opposed to having 1 ad in a video.
Yeah, and also to touch upon what determines the CPM, it's not necessarily only when the content is clean, but that definitely is a big indicator. Like if you're swearing, cussing, you're talking about some vulgar stuff, that's probably going to get demonetized. So it's not even an option of having a low CPM. But there's certain niches that have higher CPMs than others. So you guys have a high CPM because of the topics that you talk about. So some of those topics are like real estate, luxury things. So like luxury real estate, luxury cars is a big one as well. Gaming is big as well, but it depends like what niche in gaming. I'm not a gamer, so I wouldn't be able to like indicate too deep, but finances, business, credit, just basically, Amazon FBA, that's another one. So it depends on how much the advertiser is willing to pay. They're not willing to pay put their videos in front of like pranks and like couple channels. So when you're smaller, you're not going to see a big CPM for that. But then once you become, once you start,
makeup? What about makeup tutorials? Because that's very big for women. Yeah. What about makeup?
So the CPM on that isn't necessarily high until you start ranking. So like for prank channels, family channels, makeup channels, because it's a kind of saturated industry, I guess, but it's very popular. So once you start ranking and you have a very loyal not customer base, audience, then the marketers are like, okay, I would pay more to put my ads in front of their videos and stuff. So it depends on how large your channel is. When you're first starting out and it's a like beauty channel, fashion channel, prank channel, you're not really going to see large CPMs because there are so many people doing that, and advertisers aren't necessarily willing to pay for content like that in the beginning when you're just starting out. Okay.
All right. So now let's go to the actual content, because I guess that's the most important thing, right? So like so our content is financial. I guess that's the hardest thing. Like people want to start, all right, you want to become a YouTuber. Yeah. You're on your journey to become a YouTuber, right? The first thing is like, what do you want to talk about? So we talk about financial stuff because we're a financial podcast, so that's easy. How did you find your niche to talk about, and what do you recommend for people as far as finding their niche, as far as the content that they're putting out?
So I would say the easiest thing is to do something that you feel comfortable with, something that you're confident in as well, because if you're not confident in what you're talking about, it's going to show, it's going to come off on camera. People are going to be able to detect that. So make sure whatever topic you decide to go into, you're comfortable and confident about that topic. But then also your audience is going to let you know what they want to see more of. So before you even start your channel, I would say write out a whole list of titles of things you want to talk about pertaining to that. Okay, you want to start a beauty channel. That's cool. Write out 50 videos that you can do that's relating to beauty that people want to see. If you can't come up with 50, it's probably a topic that you're not that interested in and you're not that confident in. Then you should probably try and find something else that you are actually interested in.
So I'm not putting out a prank video. I'm not putting out vacations with the kids. I'm not putting out how to cut hair. It'll be all over the place. I do those things, but it just be all over the place.
Right. Yeah, no, you want to choose a topic and then try to find videos that surround that have to do with that topic, and don't make it too wide of a range. Like, especially in the very beginning, nobody knows who you are and they don't want to see every single component of your life because unfortunately, like, you're not that relevant to them. So it's nice that you have kids. It's nice that you like to shape up your beard and stuff. But like someone who comes on your channel and they want to see you hanging out with your kids, they're probably a dad with kids too, and they relate to that. But they might not have the same, grooming procedures that you do. They don't want to see the next video to be you grooming yourself. Like, it's not relevant to them. So you kind of have to keep a consistent theme because it confuses your audience. It confuses your subscriber. They come to your channel, they see one video that's pertaining to your family life and your kids. Then they go look for another video that has to do with that, and there's nothing else. Or maybe there's only one, and it's the one that they just watched. They're like, okay, this was nice. This was cool. He's a nice guy. And they keep it moving. But you have to have consistency in all of your videos.